My name is Michael Rios. I just graduated from Trimble Tech. I was part of the culinary teams for 3 years, and I've loved every second of it. I started out as a sophomore doing team alternate, like what Mariah did this year, and then I was part of the dessert team my junior year, and this last year I got the opportunity to be the team captain. You next.
My name is Guadalupe Sanchez.
My name is Daniel Acosta. This is going to be my senior year at Trimble Tech. I hope that I plan on this being my 3rd year competing. I'm going to pass it on.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Canales. I'm going to be a junior, and I've only been in Prostart for 1 year, but I'm going to be in it for the rest of my 2 years.
Hi, I'm Mariah. I am going to be a junior, and this is going to be my 2nd year here in Prostart.
Sweet. Good. So today we will be making for you our appetizer and dessert from this past year. We're starting you off with the delicious ahi tuna tartare tower with fresh avocado, mango, English cucumber, wonton, a soy caramel, and a garlic chili aioli. For dessert, we're going to have a smoked lemon and blueberry panna cotta with a berry compote, candied lemon, and pickled strawberries. So start talking. Oh. So I'm starting off first with slicing our strawberries for our pickled berries. It's a very delicate process. We're going to pickle them with thyme to infuse that flavor in there, and balsamic vinegar. Thyme goes really well with strawberries. It's surprising. I think lemon, thyme, and strawberries are the best fruit combinations you could get. It's just the flavors just love each other, and it goes delicious with this dish that we're about to form. I'm doing a rondelle, which is a 1/4-inch slice, round slice. It's one of the Prostart cuts that we have to do for a competition. In Prostart, we have a minimum of 4 cuts we need to do, and one of them is our rondelles. We have to incorporate all 4 knife cuts into our dishes, and they have to be intact for the final judging.
I'm starting off by peeling, and I'm going to brunoise this mango.
I'm starting off with the avocado. The avocado is going to be cut into small dice. The dimensions of a small dice are 1/4 of an inch.
I'll get that in there for you.
So what I'm doing is I put the gelatin in with the milk. The gelatin helps, it gives the panna cotta structure.
Let me see. That looks fine. So what she's doing right now is blooming the gelatin in your milk. It needs a little bit of heat to wake up the gelatin so that it can thicken to get your panna cotta to stay put. Panna cotta is an Italian cream dessert. It's almost like easiest way to describe it, like an easy jello. It's very delicate, very soft, and very rich. We are flavoring it with a blackberry preserve and lemon curd.
I'm cutting the mango into slices first, and then I'm going to cut them into 1/8 by 1/8 cubes.
I'm still working on the avocado. What is it?
Everybody's pretty much doing the same thing for a while until that kind of concludes what they're doing, and then they go on to the next thing.
This is our mixed berry compote. It's blueberries and strawberries with a little bit of lemon, which is going to go here in a second. Just a little bit of water so that your sugar can melt without burning. And we'll let this cook down. We add a little bit of lemon to this so that the acids break down the fruit so we get our nice sauce at the end. what I'm doing first is I'm going to get the lemon rind off. These are going to go for a candied lemon rind.
Now I'm going to separate the panna cotta mixture into 2 bowls so I can mix them with the lemon curd and the blueberry preserves.
Over here, everybody's still cutting.
Now what we do here in the kitchen, we try to utilize every part of our ingredients. So rather than just using the juice from the lemon and discarding this, we're actually using the peel to make an entirely new element of this dish to help it bring together. This is going to be crunchy, so it has that nice crunch factor that ties in with the dish. It contrasts with the creaminess and the softness of the panna cotta. We also have our thyme sable that we'll be doing that also gives a different texture element. I'm doing a julienne on these. You want them real thin so that they could cook down and break down easily. We're going to candy these in a highly concentrated sugar solution. We're doing 5 parts sugar to 1 part water. So if I have 5 ounces of sugar, I'll do 1 ounce of water and let that melt down. That will give it, whenever our lemon peels are done, have that sugar come through from the lemon peel itself and crystallize. And that gives us our candied lemon.
I'm still cutting the still brunoing the mango, and I'm just putting it in 2-ounce containers so that each layer that's going in the appetizer is even.
Danny is now finished with the avocado and is sanitizing his station.
Okay, so now I'm putting the panna cotta mixture into molds.
So this type of sauce we're doing here is a reduction sauce. We're breaking down the fruit, getting all those flavors, all those juices out, and then we're reducing it. Because you see here, it's pretty watery. We're wanting all of this liquid to cook off so we get our sauce that is nappe. That's where you want your consistency of pretty much all sauces to be. That's where if you run a spoon through, you should be able to coat the back of a spoon without it running. As you see there, it's still running, so this sauce is not yet finished. This will probably need another maybe 5 minutes max on this sauce.
I just finished cutting the avocado. The next thing I'm going to start brunoing the tuna. The tuna that we use is ahi tuna. The reason we use that tuna is because it's a sushi grade tuna. It's better for us to eat, and another reason is it gives a lot of color to our plate. It's a dark red, and it just gives a lot of color to our plate, and it makes it look a lot better.
I got those berries done.
So now I'm going to take the panna cottas back to the refrigerator, so I'm going to leave them in there for a while so they can set.
So now I'm about to start the thyme sable cookie. A sable cookie is a French cookie. It's a very quick cookie to do. It's a quick dough. It's almost similar to a pie dough with the ratios. However, it has the texture of a shortbread cookie. It's 2 parts flour, 1 part butter, and 1 part sugar. So I have my 2 ounces of flour in there. Get butter in. Don't add all your ingredients in at once because you don't know if the humidity in the air is going to require more butter or less butter. So I never add all of it in at once because you never know how the elements are going to affect your cooking process. And then we will do 1 ounce of sugar. What I'm going to do now, check my sauce, still needs a little bit of time on there, still loose. I'm using a pastry blender to cut in my fat, which is the butter, into the flour. We're going to flavor this with a couple of sprigs of thyme leaves. And then we'll press it into a ring mode. This will bake at 375 for about 6 to 8 minutes. You don't want it on such a low temperature since there's butter in there, a high ratio of butter. If you have it too high, your butter will melt through before your cookie solidifies, and then you end up with a melted cookie.
So right here I started the pickling process. It has The mixture contains balsamic vinegar and just regular vinegar, and I'm going to pour it into my strawberries with thyme leaves.
You just want to feel if this dough is moist and it barely comes together. Still pretty loose right now, so I'm just going to add a little bit more butter. You don't want too much, or else your cookie will have too much butter and it'll saturate in it. It's looking better now. I think this is right where we want it. Let me check my sauce real quick. Still a little loose, maybe 2 more minutes on this sauce. The dough, however, is done. When I squeeze it, press it, it comes together, still holds. I think this is right where we want our dough to be. I'm going to get my thyme leaves now. Yeah, with that heat. Yeah, with the steam. You know how we did it? Oh. Yeah, you use the steam from it.
The time and process that it took to create these dishes, it took a lot of hard work.
Maybe about a quarter of that?
A lot of time. We were at school from 5:30 every day to about 7:30 every day, and then we would come during Thanksgiving break, Christmas break.
Water in there?
Like
Get that steam to come up.
we were so passionate with our plates. We would come
wait for it to
in
steam and set the
on our
bowl
own
over the
time, on our
top.
own breaks, just to come work on it. And hopefully you guys
Heard.
see how our plates come out at the end of this demo.
So now this is thyme. It's very small leaves and has a very good earthy flavor. It goes really well with the tartness of the strawberries. A couple of sprigs in here do. It just accents the dough. Whenever you're picking thyme, you just want the leaves on there. Get as little stem in there as possible.
Okay, so now I'm getting ready to melt the chocolate, so I'm going to put a few pieces right here in the bowl. It's just going to go around the cookie we're making.
So I'm done with the mango, and now I'm going to small dice the cucumber.
Sauce. So the chocolate we're using is a 70% chocolate. It's a dark chocolate. The reason we chose this is because we don't want an overly sweet dessert. We want the bitterness from that chocolate, the flavors to really come out and shine through. And since we have a lot of sweet components, we don't want to make it overly sweet. It is possible to have a dessert that is overly sweet. And so as we're creating these menus, we do our best to look at our flavors, see what do we have, what do we not have. We have the bitterness, we have sour, we have sweet, spicy in some cases with dessert. Chocolate goes really well with ancho chili. It's a very mild spice, but it's very fruity, so it goes good with dark chocolate. Heard. So Prostart has helped me a lot these past 3 years. I've learned more than I think I would have in any restaurant at my age. I've worked at 2 restaurants. I worked at a Chinese restaurant, and now I'm at a fine dining restaurant. And without Prostart, I wouldn't know what I'd be doing there. I probably wouldn't even gotten the jobs there. On my resume, I put out a Prostart student and the experiences. And they just love that. They love that you have young people eager to learn, hungry to get that experience. And that's why I got these jobs. It has helped a lot in the long run. You get lots of great connections. Just looking in the audience, I've seen chefs that I've known since I was a freshman out there. And I've learned a lot from them too. I think it's the best for young people such as myself to learn as much as they can at such a young age so that they can get that step in this industry, because it is a really tough industry. And so any little thing will help you get that edge. Your sauce is ready, just needs to let it cool, and then it'll be strained. Talk about Prostart. I think Prostart has been probably the best education program there is in the nation. I mean, I don't know of any other program that helps young kids get ahead in their industry so much as this one does here. It's so hands-on. It's unbelievable. I didn't know what I was getting myself into when I first got in, but it just swept me away. I just was amazed by the amount that I've learned here. I'm going to strain the sauce down now. Good. Sweet.
Okay, so I'm cutting the outside of this cucumber so that I can get the bright color of the outside of the cucumber. And this is going to be the bottom layer of the appetizer.
Most of the appetizer consists of just cut up stuff. It is a tartare, so nothing is cooked besides the
What was that?
soy caramel and the wontons that we use.
Is all this stuff clean?
What are you doing?
Get them to talk about Prostart.
Okay, so currently I'm separating the sauce from the thick parts, like the strawberries and the blueberries.
So now my dough's ready. I'm going to press it into the ring mold. You want it in here really tight, so as this bakes in like this, your dough doesn't fall out and crumble out, and then you end up with a broken cookie. I'm going to press it in. You want it about no more than a 1/16 of an inch all the way around. This amount right here, 4 ounces of dough, should make 2 cookies. It's a very delicate process all the way through. You don't want to overmix your dough. You don't want to pack your dough too loosely or too tightly where you can't get it out of the mold. And you got to bake it just right so that your cookie doesn't break on you. But the tricky part is, it bakes in like this, but we have to flip it all the way around, and then whenever we plate it, it's standing straight up. So this cookie cannot break at all. Everything has to be right in this dough. It's a very tedious process to do, but it's worth it in the end. So now that my dough is loosely in like that, just take off any dough around the edges. We're using a pasta roller actually, and then we're just going to roll it out so we get a nice level cookie. This is so that it bakes evenly all the way through. You don't want any parts that are not as done as the others, because then those soft spots are the weak points of the cookie, and then it'll break from there. You want to get it as uniform as possible, all the way through like that. A nice little ring. We do the same process with the other mold.
All right. What Prostart means to me, it means a lot. The reason it means a lot to me, because it's not all about competition. It's about how much time you put into the work that you do at school. You don't have to do everything individually.
What's in one of the other pots?
You can.
What's in one of the other pots?
Hold up. I'm sorry. you can do a lot of things individually, but it's not as fun as when you work with the team. Because when you work with a team, you see the difference, the talents that you have and the talents that your peers have, and then when you combine it together, you just, I mean, it just clicks. Like you have a bond that can't be broken. You spend so much time together that they become your only friends, and you're with them most of the time. So yeah, that's what Prostart means to me.
Okay, well, I'm done with the cucumber and I'm about to start the scallions, which is going to be a garnish along with the fried wontons.
So Prostart is more than just a competition. It goes far back into the classroom too. Everything that chef teaches us is based off Prostart, and so we get taught the same things in the square, however in depth. It's one-on-one, hands-on experience, so you really get that extra step. In the classroom, it shows too, being able to help your colleagues out with techniques, questions, anything they might need. Prostart will give you those answers so that you can help them out for the future. I think it's great how that in Prostart, you really get to go to great events like these. I think my first event was actually my freshman year. It was a Fitworth competition. I didn't know what it was. I just got my chef jacket, so I just went and showed up. And then after that, I saw that they had a competition going on, and I just wanted to get into it from there.
Prostart means a lot to me. It's introduced me to new people. I mean, I met these amazing people right here, and I've also got learned some new experiences. You know, I've learned new things as well. I'm pretty advanced for someone in my class.
Remarkable. No, just let it here.
Okay, so I started Prostart just as something a little extra to do on the side, and then I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and I ended up going to school from like 5 in the morning, and I'd leave to like 7 in the afternoon, like it was already getting dark outside. But I don't regret any of it because it's taught me everything that I know right now. Like, I'm ahead of all my classmates, well, not all of them, but like most of them. And
40 minutes.
It's a good feeling whenever we're doing something in class and they come up to me and they're asking me for my advice, because Prostart has taught me literally everything, well, not everything that I know, but most of what I know. It's taught me all my skills that I know. And the longer that I'm in Prostart, I know that I'm going to, know more than I know now.
So I just put the cookies in about a minute ago. Those will go in for 8 minutes. Around 3 or 4 minutes, I'll check them and flip them so that they're crispy on both sides and they don't overcook. So this is our sugar solution for the candied lemon peel. Once this clears up a bit, I'll put the lemon peel in, let those cook for about 4 minutes to get soft, and then they'll go in the oven real fast so that they could get crisped up.
I'm about to start the aioli. An aioli is a Mediterranean sauce. It's a Mediterranean sauce. I'm sorry, guys. It's a Mediterranean sauce made with olives and garlic. But in in other regions, it's used with it's emulsified with eggs and oil, and that's the method that we're going to use right here, right now.
Where the panna avocado's at? Get some ice and set them. Get some ice in the cooler and set them.
Okay, I'm just cutting off the green parts of the scallion. That's gonna go on top. It's gonna give it more color than it with the wontons too.
Where do you want me to go do it? Water. So the lemon, you see they're cooking now. The solution is really getting thickened up. Still need a little extra time on those. It's really cool because the sugar infuses with the flavors of the lemons themselves. It's really nice. I'm going to use a fork to fish them out so I don't get too much of the sugar solution on here. Because if you get them too much sugar around the lemon, the syrup, it'll all be one solid chunk. And then I can't get the individual lemon peels out. Maybe about 90 seconds on those. Cool. Now, when we do this competition, we're only doing 2 of the 3 dishes we need. We need an appetizer, 2 plates, an entree, 2 plates, and a dessert, 2 plates. However, we don't need the entree here, so this extra time, we are focusing on getting everything done. And the actual competition time itself, every second counts. We practice for months, early days on end, 17-hour days, to get this down right. It takes a lot of time and practice and devotion to do this competition, but it's worth it. I think it's the most rewarding competition there is. There's so many scholarships opportunity out there for everyone involved. Our entree this year that went along with this dish was a shepherd's pie inspired dish. It was smoked lamb chop and smoked filet with pan roasted garlic Brussels sprouts, a sweet pea gremolata, cayenne glazed carrots, fried leeks, and a pan au jus. And we do everything in within that circle with the exception of the stock, which we are allowed to do in-house at school. The way to get all of those components done, everything you see here, all in under an hour, on no electricity. You see me using an oven over here, but in the time itself, you don't get that opportunity. We actually have a little camper oven that's like you'd get at Walmart and set it on a little gas burner and try to make it work with that. And those things are really tricky to use. It's really hard to control your heat on that little thing. So I really like the convenience of it now. It makes you appreciate things you take for granted in the kitchen.
Over here with the aioli, if you over whisk it or if there's any other components in the bowl, the aioli will break. And then you kind of have to restart.
So now I just flip the cookies. You see it's starting to brown a little bit on the bottoms. That is the Maillard reaction. Those are going to go back in for another 4 or 5 minutes, and then those will be done. And when I pull those out, I'm going to let them cool. They have to be cooled completely before I try to get them out of the mold, or else they will break. It's a very delicate process since it's so thin. So now I'm done with the solution. I have my lemon peel here. And these are just going to flash in here real fast, just to get that extra moisture out that's left over in the syrup. Are you good? You got the chocolate melted?
So I started the soy caramel. We decided to do this soy caramel because of its flavors that it has. The soy sauce is salty, and when we add sugar, not only does it caramelize it to give us the texture that we want, but it's also sweet. So the soy caramel sauce gives us a sweet and salty flavor.
Oh, cool. Sweet. How are they looking? Okay, sweet. So as we're waiting for this to get done, we're open to take any questions that y'all might have. Normally, within the full hour, we wouldn't have any time, but as I said before, now that we took away an entire dish, we have extra time. Is this really difficult to do whenever you have like no electricity? You're in a 10 by 10 space, so you have one, I think it's a 6-foot table with another one, an L shape. What else did we have in there? Oh, no running water. We have this little hand pumping station. That's real funny whenever you see like first timers do this competition, because you have to run there and you have to pump to get the water to come out. And it's funny, you see them frantically trying to pump it to get this water comes out, especially whenever you get like really like sophomores, freshmen, really little people. They just go and try to work this thing. I'm just going to keep these warm up here until I'm ready for plating. Those are looking nice. Cookies are looking nice as well. You doing good? Now what she's doing over here is melting the dark chocolate. She has it set up like this so that if you put the direct heat on the chocolate, it'll burn since it melts at such a low temperature. She's using the steam from the water that she has boiling underneath to get a very gentle heat coming off of it. And we're going to coat one end of the cookie in this dark chocolate so we get that bitterness too with all of our other flavor elements. Yes, still a little soft, but they're almost there, maybe 2 minutes max. I think it's one of the best desserts that we've done from our program at competition. 2 years ago, no, my sophomore year, so yeah, 2 years ago, with our first year, the team went to state from Trimble Tech. And our dessert there actually won best dessert in the state of Texas there. It was a Texas fried peach pie with a vanilla bean ice cream, wild berry compote, and a Texas tumbleweed. Now what that is we do a sugar syrup. We get up to 310 degrees, so it's a hard crack stage. We let it cool just a little bit, and then we get a pasta rack. And then with a fork or whisk, quickly drizzle it over, and it does the same effect like cotton candy. And it's the same way you do cotton candy, except with cotton candy, it spins really fast, and you have really small threads, so it gets that webbed texture. And so that's what we did for dessert. We tumbled that down, rolled it up into a ball, and that was our Texas tumbleweed. And that won our first place. It's a very nice technique, actually. A lot of people do it, and it's nice whenever they get it done right. It's a very hard technique to do as well. Last year we did, what did we do last year? We did a crepe Napoleon. We did a homemade chocolate cream and banana cream, and we layer those with layers of crepes. On top we got a sugar praline. That's good. Sugar praline and caramel sauce. And that was a very good, rich dessert. It reminded me a lot when I was a child. I loved chocolate and banana growing up. I'd eat like Nutella and banana sandwiches, and so that dish tasted like that for me. And so I really enjoyed last year's dish. But this one was, I think, hands down the best one that we've done.
So now that the wontons are cut, we're going to fry them after we pull the soy off of the burner.
Are they panna cottas in the fridge? Yeah. Okay.
Tell them you're waiting for the panna cotta to set and you're watching. Over here, we're still waiting for the panna cotta to set and the chocolate to fully melt.
Right now, I just finished making the aioli, and I'm putting it into the squirt bottle. That way it makes it a lot easier when it comes to plating.
These probably need about a minute, 2 minutes max on the cookies. They're almost there. We just want them to get that real nice crunchy texture all the way around.
Once the wontons are fried, they get a really brown, crispy looking color, and it looks really good on the top of the really red tuna.
The roasted pistachios are also going on the outside of the cookie. we're going to show them and then crush them in here. This is a manual food processor. So these are things we have to work with whenever we compete. Since we don't have a blender or electricity to just hit one button and it's done, this is what we have to do for however long it takes. A couple of years ago, we did it for our pecan breading. And so one of our guys, he was just doing this for like 5 minutes. It's a really cool thing, actually. I like them. Pretty fun. But we use those to get our pistachios a very coarse texture.
Okay, so right now I'm taking the shells off of the pistachios, which then I'm going to grind up and then put on the cookie.
Over here, we're just cleaning off our stations and waiting for the oil to heat up.
Sweet.
Over
So
here,
now,
they're going to start the plating.
go ahead. No, go ahead. No. So now that our cookies are done, we're going to wait for them to cool until we're ready to plate. How do I turn this thing on? As you can see, it's slightly brown all the way around the edges, and that's what we're looking for whenever we do this cookie. You want the Maillard reaction to take place, but not too much where you get that burnt flavor. This right here is actually pretty good, really good actually. Get the pistachios. Need help?
Over here for the plating, we're going to start putting the sauce down, and then after we put the sauce, we put down the mold, and we start placing all the layers in.
So on top of the tuna tartare over there, we have our scallions cut at a very fine bias and then shocked in an ice bath. Now what that does, the cold water seizes up the scallion so that it curls up, so you get that extra dimension of presentation. The thinner you get them, the better it looks. Some places will use the scallion whites, but we really don't use those since you get more of the onion flavor out of that, so we use that for cooking. The grains, you can also use for cooking, but we like to use them for presentation, as we do here. We actually use the scallion whites to flavor the tartare in the meat itself. We fold that in. We use sesame oil, sesame seeds, salt, pepper, and the scallion whites in there. It's a very mild onion flavor, so it doesn't overpower and take away from the tuna itself, since the tuna is the star of that dish. We don't want to take away from that. Sweet, I think that's good. Here. So now I'm just going to put them in here. Hold it firmly. What we're trying to look for is a very coarse texture. We want them to be about the size of a pinhead, so a little bit longer.
What you doing, buddy?
Crushing up pistachios. So this is where we want them. After we dip the cookie in the chocolate, we're going to coat the edge with the pistachios. The dark chocolate acts as an adhesive as well.
As Michael mentioned earlier, we need 4 cuts for Prostart. Most of our cuts were put into our appetizer and our entree. We don't have the entree right now, but most of our cuts were in the appetizer.
We're clearing station for plating. Whenever you plate, you need your station to be the absolute cleanest. So anything you do not need goes. At competition, we have a speed rack behind us, an equipment bin. So literally everything but our finished components, a couple of plating tools, and our plates is all we have on the station. And whenever we get there, when we plate, we make sure our plates are absolutely clean. What we do, we get a towel, and we have a small cup of vinegar. And what we do, we get the towel and the vinegar and wipe down the plates. That acid breaks down any imperfections on the plate so that your plate is absolute cleanest. We already have our plates pre-done, and they're in the cooler. They're in the cooler because we have 2 cold dishes. So if you're serving cold food, you want a cold plate. If you're serving hot food, you want a hot plate. Whenever you plate or you're handling any ready-to-eat foods, you must wear gloves. Proper food handling is the most crucial step to preventing people from getting sick. And we certainly don't want to make our judges sick at all. We wash our hands constantly. We check our temperatures of our food. Our coolers actually have thermometers in them to make sure that all of our coolers are below 41 degrees.
With the wontons, once we pull them out of the fryer, we put them into a deli container with a napkin. The napkin helps absorb all the oil that we put in there. So whenever we put them on the dish, we're not just serving the judges pure oil on the top.
I'm taking the cookie out of the mold now, and you see I'm barely inching it out. If at one end it gets a little stuck, I go to the other end. Do not force the cookie at all because it is similar to a shortbread, so it's very delicate. And just like that. That's what you're getting right here.
Oh.
They're barely malleable right now, so we're going to wait for them to be 100% cooled before we start adding anything else. We do not want the cookies to break at all.
We're now taking the strawberries out of the pickling mixture. The strawberries help give the dish that little kind of kick to it, and it makes everything kind of tie together.
Got everything. Cool.
All right. I'm frying the wontons.
Sure. Be very careful.
Now with the plating over here, we're going on the second layer of the tartare. How many layers is there?
So now that our sauce is pulled and cooled, whenever I run to the back of the spoon, it does not run. And that is exactly how you want your sauce to be.
Now we're taking the candy lemon and we're kind of taking off all the extra sugar. The tuna tartare has 5 layers. Right now we're on the 3rd one, so we're kind of almost there.
So on opposite corners of the plate, I'm just going to do a small dime size, maybe quarter size drop. About a 1/4 inch from the edges. You don't want any food touching the rim of the plate itself. Okay.
Now that the wontons are fried, this is kind of what they look like. It gives us this nice brown color. So whenever we put it on top of the red, it really brings out all of the colors inside the tartare. What are y'all doing?
Oh, yeah. Let me see.
And whenever we have the ahi tuna, it's not just ahi tuna. We also add in shallots and black and white sesame seeds to kind of enhance the flavor of the tuna.
The one drop of sauce I'm doing in the center of the plate is the food glue for the cookie. The cookie goes directly in the center of the plate, as it's one of the 3 highlights of the dish itself. I'm done with my sauce, so I'll put this away. My cookies are cold, so I'm going to just carefully dip them in the chocolate.
Right now, we're working on the last layer of the tartare. After we put the tartare's last layer, we then add the scallions into the middle, and we put wontons around it to give it some height.
Carefully, I'm just going to roll the pistachios over the chocolate part until it adheres just like that. Now that I'm done with my chocolate and pistachios, I'll put them away. In the actual competition time itself, this is what we do. We clean as we go, because at the very end, our station has to be spotless. So carefully, I'm going to set the cookie right in the center. And this is where the cookie having to be crisp and sturdy comes into play. Just like that.